Hello friends. What happens when the sensitive soul of a Cancer man meets the charming grace of a Libra woman? Is it poetry or chaos? Harmony or heartbreak? On the surface, these two signs couldn't be more different, but as we'll see, beneath the tension lies a deep potential for growth, understanding, and even profound love. Let's dive into the astrological chemistry of the Cancer man and Libra woman, a duo that brings together water and air, emotion and intellect, moonlight and Venusian charm. Love, a dance between emotion and elegance. When a Cancer man falls in love, he does so with an intensity that borders on spiritual. This isn't a man who schemes the surface of connection. He wants to plunge into the ocean of your soul and build a fortress of shared memories, inside jokes, and mutual understanding. Governed by the ever-changing moon, his emotional tides are deep, rhythmic, and influenced by everything from a scent in the air to a song on the radio that reminds him of you. Love for him is safety, sanctuary, and devotion. He wants someone who doesn't just understand his moods but who respects the vulnerability that comes with revealing them. Loyalty isn't optional, it's the foundation. If you're not in it for the long haul, you're not in it at all. The Libra woman, by contrast, approaches love like an artist preparing a masterpiece. Ruled by Venus, she sees romance as an experience of beauty, balance, and expression. She's the kind of woman who writes poetry in her mind while sipping coffee and imagines the future with pastel-filtered daydreams. She falls in love with the idea of love just as much as the person. Her nature is diplomatic, refined, and relational. She knows how to listen, how to make others feel heard, and how to create a space where connection can bloom. But while her heart is big, her mind is never far behind. Libra seeks emotional equilibrium, and too much drama, or too many unpredictable emotional surges, can leave her feeling off balance. So what happens when the Cancer man and Libra woman fall into each other's orbit? At first, there's a magnetic curiosity. He's captivated by her polished charm and the ease with which she navigates social spaces, something he often finds exhausting. She, in turn, is disarmed by his emotional depth, his quiet sincerity, and the way he remembers the little things, like how she takes her tea or the way she smiles when she's nervous. It's a yin and yang dynamic, water meets air, emotion meets intellect, memory meets grace. Yet, the challenges in their romantic compatibility aren't superficial, they're deeply embedded in how they process feelings. The Cancer man feels everything on a raw level. He doesn't just feel sadness, he embodies it. Joy is overwhelming, pain is paralyzing, and love is sacred. When conflict arises, his instinct is to retreat, like a crab crawling back into its shell, until he feels safe again. He wants emotional assurance, gestures of love that reaffirm his place in your heart, and a partner who won't minimize the complexity of his feelings. The Libra woman, however, is a master of emotional regulation. She doesn't avoid feelings, but she does believe in managing them with grace. When things go south, she wants to talk it out rationally, to dissect the issue from multiple perspectives, and to find a peaceful resolution. She dislikes emotional chaos and will often downplay conflict to maintain harmony. While this might help in calming a fiery argument, it can also feel dismissive to the deeply emotional Cancer, who may interpret her composure as coldness. The love between a Cancer man and a Libra woman depends on their ability to bridge these differences. Cancer has to resist the urge to interpret her balance as emotional detachment. Libra must understand that his depth isn't dramatic, it's honest. He loves hard because he feels hard. She loves thoughtfully because she believes in preserving peace. Over time, if both are committed to understanding each other's love languages, the bond can become surprisingly strong. The Cancer man can teach the Libra woman the value of emotional authenticity, that feelings, even messy ones, are worth expressing fully. In turn, she can show him how to experience love without losing himself in it. Her rational nature can help him make sense of his inner storms. His emotional commitment can help her stay grounded in the reality of love, beyond idealized fantasies. Romantic gestures between them are heartfelt and frequent. He'll write her letters, cook her dinner, remember the exact date they first met. She'll plan romantic getaways, make playlists that reflect their relationship, and remind him to look up when he's drowning in his emotions. It's not always smooth. Libra may feel emotionally flooded, Cancer may feel mentally drained, but when they find their rhythm, it's tender, sincere, and beautiful. In many ways, their love story is about integration. Cancer offers emotional depth, Libra offers emotional clarity. Cancer brings devotion, Libra brings balance. Together, they can build a love that is not only romantic but transformative, one where the heart learns from the mind and the mind softens through the heart. But it won't come effortlessly. Love for them is a long waltz, not a quick two-step. Misunderstandings are likely, especially early on. Cancer might feel like he's opening up to someone who's keeping a polite emotional distance. Libra might feel like she's being asked to swim in depths she wasn't prepared for. The solution? Patience. Vulnerability. And a shared willingness to evolve, not just for each other, but with each other. Because when a Cancer man and a Libra woman truly align, their love becomes something rare. A union where passion meets peace, emotion meets elegance, and two very different souls teach each other how to feel without fear, and how to love without losing balance. Sex, sensual poetry or missed connections. The sexual chemistry between a Cancer man and a Libra woman is one of contrasts, like candlelight flickering in a breeze, romantic and intoxicating one moment, uncertain the next. From the Cancer man's perspective, intimacy is more than desire, it's an emotional ceremony. His sexuality is slow, soulful, and sacred. He needs trust before surrender, and once that foundation is laid, he offers his partner not just physical pleasure, but a deeply nurturing, emotionally immersive experience. Every caress is charged with meaning. Every moment of vulnerability is a thread in the fabric of his emotional bond. For him, sex isn't casual, it's communion. Now enter the Libra woman, a siren of elegance, flirtation, and intellectual seduction. Ruled by Venus, she's wired for beauty and sensuality, but her connection to sex often begins in the mind. She loves the game of eye contact, innuendo, and perfectly timed wit. She thrives on mental foreplay and the aesthetics of the moment, the scent of the room, the softness of sheets, the playlist in the background. Where Cancer seeks emotional immersion, Libra initially seeks emotional harmony. She's playful, curious, and sometimes paradoxical. She craves connection but fears emotional intensity that feels too heavy, too soon. So what unfolds when these two share a bed? At its best, it's a cinematic slow burn. The Cancer man, with his intuitive touch, makes the Libra woman feel adored and safe. He's attentive to her needs, often knowing what she wants before she even says it. The Libra woman, with her sense of style and grace, transforms intimacy into an art form. She brings refinement, excitement, and variety to the bedroom, elevating sensuality into an experience that engages all five senses. Together, they create a kind of erotic dreamscape, water meets air, depth meets elevation. But the road to that dream isn't always smooth. The Cancer man is emotionally charged. He enters the bedroom with his heart open and vulnerable. He may crave affirmation after intimacy, words of love, gentle cuddles, maybe even tears if the moment is profound. If the Libra woman isn't in that same emotional space, her detached grace might come off as cold, or even dismissive. She, on the other hand, may feel overwhelmed by the Cancer man's emotional intensity, especially if she hasn't yet decided whether their connection is something long-term. What he sees as sacred, she might see as too serious, too soon. The challenge lies in the pacing, and in the unspoken expectations that both bring into the bedroom. Cancer may expect an immediate soul bond. Libra may want to keep things light, exploratory, and emotionally neutral while she figures out how she truly feels. If these unspoken desires aren't clarified early on, their chemistry can start with a spark and end with silence. However, if communication flows, and if they give each other the grace to grow into intimacy, something extraordinary can emerge. The Libra woman, with her natural appreciation for beauty, can introduce the Cancer man to the art of sensual ambience. Think soft lighting, silk sheets, long baths together, and whispered conversations under moonlight. She'll encourage him to see intimacy not just as an emotional act, but as a sensual dance. She may help him release some of the pressure he places on each encounter, reminding him that pleasure can be playful, not just profound. The Cancer man, in turn, will show the Libra woman what it feels like to be truly cherished. His depth allows her to experience sex as something soul-touching, where her emotions are welcomed and explored, not dissected or analyzed. He'll help her anchor her sensuality into something more lasting, more secure. She won't just feel desired, she'll feel safe in her vulnerability. Over time, their sexual connection can become both a refuge and a revelation. They'll find new ways to meet each other halfway. The Cancer man will learn that emotional intensity doesn't need to be immediate or overwhelming. Sometimes, anticipation deepens the bond. The Libra woman will learn that emotional depth doesn't always disrupt balance. Sometimes, it creates the intimacy she didn't even realize she was craving. This couple thrives when they embrace their differences. He must understand that her desire for space and beauty is not rejection, it's part of her love language. She must understand that his emotional yearning is not weakness, it's strength in its rawest form. If they give their relationship room to evolve, the sexual chemistry can blossom into something truly profound. It won't be a constant, fiery passion, but rather a slow, seductive burn that intensifies over time. Their physical intimacy becomes a mirror of their emotional growth, unpredictable, beautiful, and filled with potential. Ultimately, their sexual compatibility is less about instant gratification and more about emotional timing. When the Cancer man's emotional current meets the Libra woman's breeze of curiosity and charm, it doesn't always create a storm, sometimes, it creates poetry. And in that shared space, between his need to feel and her need to flow, they might just find something neither expected, a new definition of passion, grounded in both soul and style. Marriage, home or house of cards. Marriage between a Cancer man and a Libra woman is the ultimate test of emotional depth meeting emotional diplomacy. At first, it might feel like the perfect balance, him offering stability, her bringing grace, but over time, the fundamental differences in how they approach domestic life begin to surface. And when they do, it's not a quiet clash. It's subtle, almost invisible, like shifting tectonic plates beneath an otherwise picturesque landscape. He wants a sacred, emotionally secure space where love is spoken in glances, gestures, and shared silences. She wants a beautiful, inspiring environment full of laughter, intelligent conversation, and moments that feel curated. They both want home, but the version they envision is written in two different scripts. The Cancer man dreams in nostalgia. He builds his concept of marriage around emotional continuity, Sunday breakfasts at home, predictable routines, cozy rituals, and a partner who prioritizes family above all else. For him, love grows in stillness. His version of marital happiness is like a black and white movie, slow, sentimental, and grounded in emotional loyalty. His instincts as a provider and protector are strong. Once married, he takes on the emotional weight of the relationship, often without being asked, constantly monitoring the emotional weather of the household. The Libra woman, however, is a creature of harmony and aesthetics. Her idea of a successful marriage includes a balance of romance, social life, personal freedom, and creative expression. She wants the relationship to feel alive and graceful, like a perfectly composed melody that never veers off key. She's not against tradition, but she won't be boxed in by it either. Her home needs to feel like an extension of her inner balance, beautiful, open, and filled with charm. And while she's just as committed to partnership as Cancer, she needs space to breathe within the structure, to maintain her sense of autonomy and artistic self. The friction comes not from lack of love, but from how love is expressed. The Cancer man might interpret her desire for independence as emotional distance. He might wonder why she wants to host dinner parties instead of cuddling on the couch. He might feel unappreciated if she doesn't react emotionally to his gestures of care. He gives with his heart and hopes to receive in kind, and if those emotional cues aren't returned in the way he understands, his default response is withdrawal. The Libra woman, on the other hand, might begin to feel stifled by his emotional expectations. She might crave lightness where he brings gravity. While she values the emotional foundation he offers, she doesn't always want to sink into its weight. If she feels judged for wanting beauty, stimulation, or even occasional distance, she may begin to withdraw, not out of cruelty, but in defense of her emotional clarity. Her method of love is often unspoken but ever-present, in gestures of refinement, in making the home beautiful, in keeping things peaceful. Yet, here's the often overlooked truth: despite all the emotional chess matches, when both choose commitment, they mean it. Cancer brings unwavering loyalty, the kind that doesn't fade with hardship. Libra brings a dedication to fairness and partnership that can help steer even the roughest waters toward resolution. The Cancer man's devotion is rooted in protection. The Libra woman's loyalty is rooted in balance. If they learn to appreciate this, really appreciate it, they can forge a marriage that is both emotionally rich and intellectually satisfying. The secret lies in emotional literacy. He must learn not to mistake her calmness for apathy. She must learn not to see his emotional tides as irrational. Once they understand that they each have a unique way of loving, his through feeling, hers through thought, they can begin to build a bridge between their worlds. Marriage becomes their shared classroom. Cancer teaches Libra the importance of emotional safety, that it's okay to feel deeply and not apologize for it. Libra teaches Cancer that emotions can coexist with perspective, that not every disagreement needs to become a full emotional spiral. Together, they discover a rhythm that's not perfect but is very much theirs. Their home, while perhaps not always peaceful, becomes layered, full of stories, debates, laughter, and moments of rare, glowing intimacy. The Cancer man may eventually come to love the parties, as long as they end with just the two of them slow dancing in the kitchen. The Libra woman may come to adore the quiet nights in, especially when she feels like her emotional freedom isn't being taken as a threat. In parenting, they can be a powerhouse. He provides emotional security, she fosters intellectual and social development. In conflict, they eventually learn how to use her tact and his emotional insight to solve problems without explosions. Their marriage matures beautifully, if both continue to grow, to check their assumptions, and to meet in the middle. So, is their marriage a sanctuary or a structural risk? It depends entirely on how well they listen, to themselves, and to each other. If they insist on making the other conform to their personal model of home, it crumbles like a house of cards. But if they allow room for duality, space for stillness and movement, intimacy and independence, it becomes something stronger than a house. It becomes a living, breathing partnership. Because when a Cancer man's emotional loyalty meets a Libra woman's balanced devotion, the result isn't a dream or a debate, it's a delicate, beautiful dance between comfort and growth. Friendship, surprisingly strong. Friendship between a Cancer man and a Libra woman is one of those low-key treasures of the zodiac, a bond that, while not always expected, can become deeply enriching for both. Without the high emotional stakes that come with romance, these two signs are free to explore each other's worlds without fear of judgment or misunderstanding. And it's in this unpressured space that something genuinely beautiful can grow. The Cancer man brings emotional depth and quiet loyalty, the kind of friend who remembers your big moments and your little ones. He's the one who shows up with your favorite snack when you're sad or listens without interruption when you just need to vent. His empathy runs deep, and once he calls you a friend, it means you've earned a place in his carefully curated emotional circle. The Libra woman, on the other hand, brings a breeze of light into his often intense world. She's witty, graceful, and inherently social, always ready with a charming anecdote or spontaneous idea. Where Cancer may prefer the familiar, Libra introduces novelty. She reminds him to live a little, to laugh more, and to see the beauty in imperfection. Her curiosity complements his introspection. Where he retreats inward, she reaches outward. Together, they form a friendship that can be surprisingly well balanced, with each offering the other what they often lack. They gravitate toward shared experiences that feel emotionally or intellectually rich. Think late-night conversations over candlelit dinners, museum dates, philosophical debates over coffee, and hours spent creating playlists that somehow mirror their emotional states. She inspires him to explore new places, both literal and emotional, while he gives her a groundedness that keeps her from floating too far into indecision or superficiality. Cancer's loyalty and thoughtfulness can make Libra feel seen and appreciated beyond the surface. Libra's diplomacy and optimism can help Cancer lift his gaze from the past and toward brighter horizons. One of the reasons their friendship works so well is because it's rooted in mutual respect. The Cancer man doesn't need to entertain or impress the Libra woman, she appreciates his authenticity. And Libra doesn't have to dim her light or mute her opinions. Cancer values her insight and listens deeply. They rarely compete, instead, they complement. Where other friendships may thrive on shared interests, theirs thrives on emotional synergy. They don't need to be identical to get along, in fact, their differences are part of what draws them together. It's not uncommon for them to joke that they'd make a great couple, if they weren't so busy being perfect friends. What's especially charming about their dynamic is how often they end up in each other's corner during tough times. The Libra woman, usually the diplomat and problem solver, finds in Cancer a sanctuary where she can drop the act and be fully vulnerable. She doesn't always share her inner world easily, but something about Cancer's quiet understanding invites her to open up. Meanwhile, the Cancer man, who often feels like he carries everyone's emotions, discovers in Libra a rare kind of emotional clarity. She doesn't get lost in the weight of his feelings. Instead, she helps him sort through them with grace, without making him feel broken or overly dramatic. They support each other in the background, too. Libra might champion Cancer's creative pursuits, pushing him to share his work or take a risk. Cancer, in turn, offers her the kind of quiet, behind-the-scenes support that helps her shine more confidently in public. He reminds her that she doesn't always need to be perfect to be loved. She reminds him that love doesn't always have to be heavy to be real. Of course, no friendship is without its tension. Libra's need for variety and social engagement can sometimes make Cancer feel sidelined. He may misread her busyness or flirtatious energy as emotional distance. Meanwhile, Libra might find Cancer's emotional rhythms hard to navigate, especially if he suddenly withdraws or becomes moody. But because the stakes aren't romantic, these moments are often easier to talk through. They're more forgiving with each other as friends, more likely to laugh off misunderstandings or give space when needed. In many ways, their friendship is the kind that grows stronger over time. It might start casually, a shared interest here, a deep conversation there, but before they know it, they've become essential parts of each other's lives. They don't need to talk every day to stay close. There's an unspoken understanding between them, a trust that remains even when time or distance gets in the way. What makes this friendship especially powerful is that it isn't built on drama or obligation, but on mutual curiosity, kindness, and the rare joy of being fully seen. Together, the Cancer man and Libra woman build a friendship that feels both like home and adventure, a place to rest, and a reason to explore. They don't need to define it, label it, or fix it. They simply enjoy each other, exactly as they are. And sometimes, in the realm of friendship, that's the most beautiful connection of all. Business, think twice. Or build an empire. Business partnerships between a Cancer man and a Libra woman are a fascinating study in contrast, and potential synergy. On paper, their strengths lie in completely different spheres, yet together, they can balance one another in ways that elevate a project from simply functional to emotionally resonant and visually compelling. The Cancer man is the archetypal behind-the-scenes architect. He's slow to trust, but once he believes in a vision, he's all in, methodical, loyal, and emotionally connected to the work. He measures success not just by numbers but by legacy, customer loyalty, and team cohesion. Every decision he makes carries emotional weight. He doesn't just want the business to work, he wants it to mean something. The Libra woman, by contrast, is the front-facing visionary. She's polished, articulate, and naturally attuned to trends, people, and presentation. She can walk into a room, charm investors, navigate high-pressure negotiations, and make the brand look like a masterpiece. Her strengths lie in aesthetics, relationship building, and public relations. She thrives in brainstorming sessions and visionary planning, but she's not always interested in the deeper structural mechanics of a business. While Cancer is budgeting and forecasting, Libra is redesigning the logo and building the social media strategy. And believe it or not, that's exactly why they work, if they let each other do what they do best. When roles are clearly divided and mutually respected, this duo becomes a force. The Cancer man handles operations, HR, and finances. He builds the emotional culture of the team, ensuring that morale stays high and that everyone feels valued. He's the one keeping an eye on the 5-year plan, forecasting growth, and watching for financial risk. Meanwhile, the Libra woman brings in clients, elevates branding, leads creative initiatives, and turns even the most utilitarian offering into something aspirational. She's the one who says, "Let's make it beautiful," and he's the one who says, "Let's make it sustainable." But, and this is a big but, things can unravel fast if respect isn't mutual. Cancer may start to see Libra as flighty or uncommitted, especially if she pivots too often or glosses over important details. He might view her optimism as naivety or grow frustrated by what he sees as a lack of emotional accountability. Libra, on the other hand, might start to feel stifled. She may see his cautious approach as fear-based or outdated, his emotional seriousness as rigidity, and his protectiveness over the business as control rather than care. When disagreements arise, Cancer retreats emotionally, often becoming passive-aggressive or overly controlling. Libra, instead of confronting the issue head-on, may detach or distract, focusing on surface solutions rather than the deeper root of the conflict. To overcome this, communication is everything. Cancer needs to express his concerns without retreating into silence or letting his mood dominate the workplace. Libra must learn to stay grounded in hard conversations and avoid sugarcoating the truth just to keep the peace. If they can create a safe environment where vulnerability is respected and decision-making is collaborative, they can find equilibrium. Cancer brings emotional intelligence and caution, Libra brings perspective and innovation. Together, they make every idea both heartfelt and marketable. The Cancer man will also benefit from Libra's ability to open doors. Her social charm and instinct for beauty can attract the kind of attention and clientele that traditional marketing might never reach. She can take a modest product and position it like luxury. The Libra woman, in turn, gains from Cancer's groundedness. He's her emotional anchor in a sea of options. He encourages her to follow through, to take her visions and give them structure, depth, and purpose. He helps her realize that just because something looks good doesn't mean it is good, and vice versa. Their different work styles can even be used as a strategic advantage. While Cancer is slow and methodical, ensuring nothing slips through the cracks, Libra is quick-thinking and adaptable. In a crisis, Cancer protects and insulates, Libra smooths things over and restores diplomacy. Cancer creates the emotional heartbeat of the company, Libra makes sure the world falls in love with it. Of course, success will always depend on whether or not they respect each other's strengths and forgive each other's blind spots. Cancer has to stop expecting Libra to adopt his work ethic or emotional weight. Libra has to stop trying to pull Cancer out of his shell before he's ready. If they move toward collaboration instead of competition, they won't just run a business, they'll build an empire rooted in beauty, empathy, and endurance. And in the end, that's the true potential of this pairing. Not just money. Not just growth. But a legacy, a business that feels good, looks great, and stands the test of time. Final thoughts, a relationship that mirrors growth. So, can a Cancer man and a Libra woman truly thrive? Yes, but only if both are willing to grow. Cancer must learn not to retreat at the first sign of discomfort. Libra must learn to embrace emotional intensity rather than avoid it. Together, they can help each other become more complete human beings. This union is less about fireworks and more about emotional alchemy. When they get it right, it's not just love, it's transformation. And that's the real magic. Sparkles like this deep dive into cosmic compatibility? Smash that like button, subscribe for more astrology insights, and don't forget to check the links in the description for exclusive content. Dive deeper, dream bigger, and remember, the stars only guide you. You write the story. Catch you in the next one.